Hello and welcome to Slice of Ace. A few weeks ago I asked some people on Avon what they thought was important for asexual visibility and education. And a lot of the responses were people wanting to dispel misconceptions and tackle misconceptions about asexuality. With this in mind, I've decided to create a series covering these misconceptions and discussing what is misconceived about them. So the way I'm going to structure these episodes is I'm going to have a main misconception that I'm going to cover, which will be something that needs to go into more depth, and then I'll have a couple of smaller ones which are easily explained away. Some of them will be serious, some will be funny. I'm just going to have a mix and see how it goes. And of course, if you have suggestions for other misconceptions that you want me to cover, or that you have encountered yourself, then please comment them down below. Now, onto the catalyst for this video. I saw a tweet today saying that demisexuality doesn't exist. The tweet read that demisexuality is the fundamental misunderstanding of how the human sexuality and libido works. Not wanting to have sex with someone until you get to know them is normal. That's how everyone feels. Having a whole orientation that means only wanting to have sex sometimes is pointless. And then they went on to give more anti-ace sentiments. So, demisexuality is defined as someone who only feels sexual attraction once an emotional bond has been formed with someone. They cannot feel sexual attraction before this emotional bond has been formed. They do not feel it. And this person is saying that that is normal. But what they're doing is conflating someone choosing not to have sex with a stranger with someone not actually feeling the sexual attraction in the first place. And a good example of this is Grindr. And I didn't think I'd be talking about Grindr on this channel. As probably most of you know, Grindr is a gay dating app which is primarily used for hookups. A lot of people on that app go on to have sex with strangers. I imagine most of those people are sexually attracted to those strangers that they're having sex with. If these people were demisexual, they probably wouldn't be on Grindr because they wouldn't have that emotional bond necessary to feel sexual attraction. Of course, a lot of people, a lot of allos, decide not to have sex until they've formed an emotional bond with someone, because sex is a very intimate activity. But that is a choice. These people are choosing not to have sex, even though they feel sexual attraction. I know from reading comments on gay YouTubers' videos that people want to have sex with someone that they've never met. This is fundamentally different from demisexuality. Hopefully, that was understandable. Another thing they said is that it's a fundamental misunderstanding of how human sexuality and libido works. Demisexuality doesn't say anything about libido. Demisexuals could be libidoist, could be non-libidoist. It has nothing to do about it. Demisexuality is about sexual attraction. It is about wanting to have partnered sex with another person. So I do not know why libido is mentioned there. It is not relevant to the discussion. Hopefully, that sorts that one out. Of course, if you want me to go into more depth on that topic in particular, do comment down below. I am more than happy to, and I'll probably get a demisexual on to talk about it as well, because they know it better than I. The next one we have on the list is a fun one. This is asexuals are plants. Let me introduce you to a concept. Homonyms. Homonyms are words which have the same spelling and the same pronunciation, but different meanings. An example would be book and book. You can book a flight, or you can read a book. But these are fundamentally different words. Similarly, there are the words asexual and asexual. They are spelt the same, they sound the same, but they mean different things. Most people are introduced to the concept of asexuality in secondary education in biology. Biologically speaking, an asexual organism is one which produces asexually. That is to say, where the offspring inherits traits only from a single being. For example, some bacteria split in two. I can't split in two, but I'm asexual. Why is that? Because there are two different words. The second word, which is the one that you probably all know by now because you're here listening to me talk about things, is the sexual orientation. The sexual orientation of asexuality means that you do not feel sexual attraction. So, we have asexual, the biological term, asexual, the sexual orientation. Different things. I know this is a joke. People really don't think... I hope that people really don't think that asexuals are plants. But if you do, homonyms. You can add that word to your repertoire. And finally, asexuality is the same as celibacy. Once again, this is a conflation of a choice with what you're physically feeling. Celibacy is the personal decision to abstain from sexual activity. This might be for religious reasons, not wanting to have sex before marriage, for example, or it could just be for moral reasons. As we discussed with demisexuality, you might not want to have sex until you know someone better, until you are in a relationship. Strictly according to the definitions, you can be simultaneously asexual and celibate. Those are not mutually exclusive terms. One is to do with sexual attraction, one is to do with sexual activity. I imagine a lot of asexuals don't have sex. I don't have sex, so technically I'm celibate. But the word celibacy normally has connotations of abstaining although you want to have sex. So although you feel sexual attraction and you would like to have sex, you're like, no, I don't, I want to break, so I'm being celibate. Or for example, a nun. Nuns are celibate for religious reasons. But I imagine most of those aren't asexual nuns. So what you really need to do is separate choice and sexual orientation, separate sexual attraction and sexual activity, because they are different things. You can have a sexually active asexual, and you can have a celibate allosexual. It doesn't change their sexual orientation. Okay, I think that covers it. If you think that I didn't cover any of the misconceptions in enough depth, or what I said didn't strictly debunk them, then feel free to comment down below. Also, like I said earlier, if you have something that you would like me to cover in this series, other misconceptions, and if you like the series in general, comment down below. I always give you so many things to comment, but just choose one of them, one or two, it'll be fine. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like. I post videos every Saturday, so if you want to see more, then feel free to subscribe. That is all I had to say today. Have a wonderful day, and I shall see you next time. I think I'm blending into the sofa slightly.